Welcome to Conversations with Asha and Steve, where communication matters. Join us as we discuss effective ways to communicate, bridge the gaps, and build long-lasting relationships within your business and life. Here are your hosts, Asha Prasad and Steve Harper.
Hey, Dr. Asha, how are you doing?
Hey, Steve. Good. How are you?
Good. Welcome to Conversations with Asha and Steve. I am your host, Steve Harper, and with me, as always, is my beautiful co-host, Dr. Asha Prasad. Thanks for joining us today.
So, Steve, how are you? How are you really doing today? Fantastic. It's another Friday.
I'm living the dream.
Are you living your dream?
Yeah, actually, when people ask me that, I always say unbelievable. Yeah. You know why? Because unbelievable could cover it either way.
That's actually really good. That's actually really good because, like, unbelievable. Oh yeah. Okay. What does that mean?
You could really be having a bad day and nobody would know it because you just said
true.
unbelievable. Like yesterday was unfreaking believable. Not in a great way, but I don't have to say that.
But you don't have to say that. And people think, oh, wow, he's having an unbelievable day.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then they're like, how do I get some of that? And so, see.
And you're like, do you really want that? Yeah, you don't really want that.
Yeah. Careful what you wish for. Absolutely.
Exactly. Oh, my gosh. Yes.
So, for those of us or those of you out there that are watching or hearing this on the podcast, this is one of our lightning rounds when Dr. Asha is in high demand like she normally is, and we can't do a live stream on a Friday. Or we're on vacation and we just want to be like left alone on a beach. We don't want to lose the opportunity to keep talking to you. So we want to make sure that we're still having these conversations. So we do these lightning rounds. They're a little bit shorter episode, but they're topics that have been kind of put forward by folks that, have asked us questions in the past. And, we've promised to do episodes or have conversations about it. So these lightning rounds become a good opportunity to do that. And for this one, Asha, don't let fear stop you from trying. Oh, that's interesting. Don't let fear stop you from trying. I'm afraid I might not know what all that means. What does that mean?
Afraid, I don't even know. You know what? I was thinking about this, Steve. Okay, so fear is always going to be there.
Yeah.
Especially with the big things. Like once you get used to doing the small things that kind of scare you at first and you get used to it, you can get over those. But when it comes to the big things, I've realized that fear is always going to be there. So it's just a matter of doing it in face of the fear.
Yeah.
And I think one of the ways that, I can speak for myself personally that I've done it and also with working with clients is just by actually doing something, taking an action, no matter how small or how, big you want to make it, taking an action towards whatever it is that's really scaring you is the first step that you need to do. Because, and I know that some people get really stuck here because they're just like so afraid. They're so freaked out by whatever it is. And most of the time, I have to say, we make up things in our head. We tell ourselves stories about what can go wrong and what is this. I mean, all
Will you do that? Are you talking to me?
I mean, do you tell stories, Steve?
Wait
a minute. I don't know what kind of stories are you telling. Do you have multiple stories going on?
You really don't want to hear those stories. Let me just tell you, they are, not fit for public consumption. But
oh, geez.
I do think that when you're facing something new, like maybe starting a new job or starting a new business, or you're thinking about, maybe, anything that, that you might want to tackle. I think there's always that little hesitancy that says, are you going to do it? Are you going to fall down? Are you going to fail? And it's kind of funny how the mind works and how we always go to the worst case scenarios first, right? I won't start that business because, oh my God, I might bankrupt my family, right? Or I'll lose my house or my car. And these things sort of just become prevalent in terms of how they seem to attack when you have this great enthusiastic idea and think, man, I'd like to do that. And then all of a sudden the fear monger, comes in and wants to just rain on your parade. Why do you think that is? I mean, is that the ego trying to work against you from a mental perspective?
Is. I mean, here's the thing. Our mind is created to be logical and to tell stories, like, to really make up things. So it's like if somebody says right now, okay, we're expecting a storm in 20 minutes. Okay. I mean, just like something simple. It's just an example. What do? Like, people start going in their minds and they start going, oh my God, 20 minutes. I got to leave in 40 minutes. That means I'm going to be caught in the middle. We go down this rabbit hole and we start telling like, I don't have my raincoat. I don't have an umbrella, whatever. I'm going to get drenched. And then I've got this meeting and we go down like this rabbit hole, and we've got to learn to like stop it before it even starts. Like, become an observer. So it is our ego, Steve. It is our ego, but that's our mind, like that monkey mind. I always call it my monkey mind. You know, you've got to just calm it down and be like, hey, you know what? No. Okay, so storms come in 20 minutes. That's what they say. We'll see what happens. And get right back into your focus. You know what I mean? Like it's a practice though. It's a practice, but I think we're defaulted to go to the negative thing. We get a lot of people reconfirming it around us too.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, they're happy to tell you what you can't do, right?
Oh, so gosh, yes.
They love to add to that fear, and that fear monger likes to rise up and go, see, I was telling you. I told you this.
Exactly.
You know, it's kind of like, back to the caveman and cavewoman days, right? Do we leave the cave or do we not, right? I saw caveman Bob leave yesterday, and the big, Tyrannosaurus Rex just munched him right at the entrance. Gone. Right as he went out, boom, there goes Bob. We don't see Bob anymore. But we're hungry and we need food. So am I faster than Bob was? Can I get out there and do something? I mean, sometimes the fear, the need outweighs the fear that drives us forward. Right. And I think a lot of times that, when you look at situations like that and you say, well, the outcome is worth the risk. And yes, the things that my fear monger is telling me in my head that, those could come to fruition, but the likelihood of them coming to fruition are pretty minimal, right?
Exactly.
Tyrannosaurus Rex is probably, his belly's full because he got Bob yesterday. So
exactly.
we're good for at least a couple of days. He's set for a while. So, so what do you say to your coaching clients when they say, I really want to do this, but I'm concerned, or I've got this fear that it won't work out?
I usually get them to break it down and like, well, why do you want to do it? Like, first of all, why do you want to do it? Just tell me that, first of all. Don't tell me what can go wrong or that you're going to fail or that, look stupid or people are going to judge you or whatever it is. Why do you want to do it? Let's break it down. What is it that and then you get them talking about that and you break it down, Steve. And then what happens is that whenever we start breaking it down and we realize how silly a lot of times what our fears are, then we can just be like, you know what, I'm just going to do it. Like, so what? So that's one of the things that I like to do with a lot of people is just to get them talking about that, because I think it does help. It really, really does help. I don't know, Steve, how do you deal with that?
Well, it's kind of funny, really. Very similar. I mean, talking about the motivation for what came up and why it came up in the first place, about why they wanted to do it. That why is the most powerful question that you can ask yourself about just about anything.
Exactly.
And there's generally multiple answers as to why you want to do something. And the why, when you have enough whys, they generally outweigh the won'ts. And because you can bring it full circle in those conversations and say, okay, well, these are all the reasons you wanted to do it. Now let's look at all the reasons that if you don't do it, you'll really regret it. You'll miss out. And that that FOMO that all the millennials talk about, the FOMO, fear of missing out. That's a real powerful thing as well, because that's a different type of fear. Yes. It says, well, you're right. This fear monger comes up against this other fear monger, and who's going to win? And ultimately, if I don't do it and I see somebody else go and do it, how am I going to feel? Right. So I think a lot of times it's really helping sort of steer the fear in the right direction. Yeah. And I think fear can be a good guide. I think fear can be like, okay, so what are all those things that you're concerned with? And so what are those things what has to happen for those things to come to fruition? And when you start breaking them down, those little bullies in our mind don't look so scary after all, right? Yeah. And so there's all sorts of different avenues that I think people can take to overcome that. Whether you're, hey, I'm going to go jump out of a plane and parachute, or I'm going to, go rock climbing, or I'm going to go on an adventure hike that I never in a million years thought I could do. As long as the whys outweigh the won'ts, then I think you've got something.
Steve, I know one thing that you could do to get over like a huge fear.
Here we go. Yeah. Oh my God.
You know exactly what I'm going to say. Steve is great. Because Steve, you're fearless. As long as I've known you, you're fearless. So the only one thing I could say that for Steve Harper to get over his biggest fear is to get on a rocket and go to space.
Well, I'm going to announce it here. I'm the winner of the $28 million bid to go with Jeff Bezos. I just decided to do it. Nobody knows it. That guy looked different than me, but it's going to be me. I'm going to go up there. I'll come back down and let you know how it was.
All right. Sounds good.
Because you have money on Richard Branson's yes. vehicle. You put a deposit down. You know, you don't have air conditioning over there, but you can put money down.
It's about, what your why is.
Yeah. No. I mean,
and doing things in spite of the fear.
That's right. That's right. I think it's pretty interesting that you bring that up, because there's no way in hell I would do that, because the why do not outweigh the won'ts.
It just is not big enough.
Yeah.
No, but one thing, Steve, I would like to say about this fear. One of the things that I've seen entrepreneurs do and clients do is whenever they're feeling like that moment of that vulnerability and being afraid, they go and share it with the people that are going to keep them there.
Yeah.
And that is something I would really, really recommend to people. Yeah. Find people that will help pull you out of it, not keep you there, because there's kind of a tendency that we kind of gravitate to those negative people. It's not, it's not their fault or anything. It's just that's what their default is. And they're going to keep you there and even probably pull you down even more to where you're so not going to do anything. So I just want to say that, because I think that that's a huge thing when we're dealing with fear, stopping us from even attempting anything. Don't go to the people that will do that. That's important.
I mean, that's a great piece of advice. I also would suggest seeking out people that have done what you want to do. Yes. And then go ask them, how did you overcome the fear? What motivated you or inspired you to do whatever it is? And, I think that can be an even more powerful activity for you to help you find your why into doing whatever you want to do. But I mean, excellent point. Don't go to the people that always tell you will fail.
Yeah. That's, it's interesting, Steve, because I was thinking about this. I was having a conversation with somebody just the other day, and she was asking me about how things were when, like how it was whenever I first started and everything in my career and everything. And I can remember going to people that I kind of knew subconsciously that they were going to keep me playing small. Until I figured out, what? No, that's not where I want to go. And I started getting more and more quiet with those people, because I thought, I need to not do that, because it doesn't make me feel good. It makes me feel.
That's huge.
I don't know. Yeah. It's a huge thing.
Well, I mean, just that alone is really a good thing for our audience to pay attention to. Who are those people for you that tend to keep you down and might be adding to your fear unnecessarily? Right?
Exactly.
And don't go to them. Don't talk to them. Find the people who will support you and will, certainly be there for you to encourage you along the way. I think that's key. So, so this is, these lightning round conversations are meant to be sort of short and just kind of bite-sized morsels of conversations when we're not able to do the live stream. And so I really enjoyed this one. This was a lot of fun.
Me too, Steve.
So Asha, just so that our listeners know, how can they get a hold of us and maybe, give us a topic or suggestion for a future episode?
Yeah, definitely. You can contact us via our website, conversationswithashaandsteve.com, or you can message us or even comment on this link or this. No, I'm sorry, this live, this whatever we're doing right now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The heat is melting my brain right now.
I'm afraid I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm afraid. Yeah, exactly. Oh goodness. So anyways, you can drop a comment in there, or you can contact us on any social media platform, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whichever one. And we'd love to hear from you, because we love to have these conversations and be able to help you further along in your entrepreneurial journey.
Absolutely. And to learn more about Dr. Asha and her great work, check out theprasadmethod.com. She has a lot of unbelievable programs. She's got a great blog. You can sign up for her newsletter, and she puts out something Monday motivational, right? Is that, that's
Monday Mindful Moments.
Mindful Moments on Monday.
Yeah.
I mean, that you put out. I love those. They are, they hit your inbox, and it's just a good way to start your week for sure. And you can check out my work at ripplecentral.com. You can follow Dr. Asha and myself on social media. Asha, how do people find you on Twitter?
Yeah, so pretty much you can find me at Dr. Asha Prasad or at the Prasad Method.
Yep. And I'm on Ripple Central, and my social media handles is at Ripple On. Well, this was a fun conversation, Dr. Asha. Thank you so much for having it with me. I am afraid our time is up, unfortunately, but I'm not going to let fear, dictate that when we record the next one.
Exactly. We're not going to keep it from trying.
Absolutely. So I will see you next time. Take care.
All right. Till next time. Take care.
Thank you for joining us for today's episode of Conversations with Asha and Steve. We love to hear feedback and questions from our listeners. Please feel free to visit our Facebook page for more tips and information. You can also email us directly at info@ripplecentral.com for more information.